CEOs from some of the biggest health insurers met this morning at the White House with Secretary of Health and Human Services Kathleen Sebelius. Ron Williams, the chairman and CEO of Aetna, was there, and we're pleased to have him join us now from our Washington bureau. Mr. Williams, thank you for joining us. Sebelius said afterward that she was concerned about, quote, jaw-dropping rate increases, and said there's still a concern that medical trends do not match those rate increases. Your response to that?
Well, I think we share a common purpose. I think as a business, we're deeply concerned about our customers and making certain that they can afford the health care services that they need, and working families can fit this into the budget. I think one of the things that we did talk about in that meeting was the things that are contributing to the increase in premium rates, which are hospital cost increases, pharmacy, physician, device manufacturers. And also the fact that many of the younger, healthier individuals in this economy may very well not be keeping their insurance. So you have upward pressure from all of those factors leading to some of these rate increases.
Let's begin with the medical costs and how that's pushing up your premiums. What suggestions might you have to bring those down?
Well, I think one of the things that I would suggest is really the type of meeting we had today with the administration and the health plans be expanded to include the hospitals, the pharmaceutical companies, physicians, device manufacturers, so that we're not just talking about the finished premium, but we're talking about the forces that really are driving the premium. One of the things we would say is let's have more transparency, not just in premium rates, but in what's the average increase hospitals are getting, what's the average increase in pharmaceutical prices. There's a host of things I think we can do to really better acquaint the public.
Do you think there's one specific industry or one specific member of the whole healthcare process that's not pulling its weight or doing its fair share to try and keep costs under control?
Well, I think we have to recognize that at the heart of it is really the physician who, by and large, is doing the best they can, but we have issues like malpractice, and tort reform is a huge issue. I think if we look at how health information technology has changed every aspect of the business except the practice of medicine, there's a huge opportunity to improve quality, eliminate fraud and abuse, and really create more value if we really apply health information technology throughout the system.
How has tort reform been addressed? I mean, we've seen only sort of satellite programs in certain states, but nationwide, what can we do to tackle what a lot of people have labeled as one of the biggest problems as far as runaway costs for health care?
Well, I think there are lots of suggestions, and I think there doesn't have to be only one answer. I think one proposal that we've been supportive of is, for example, is health courts, where individuals could have their right in court to make certain that if something's happened, there's been negligence, that they are able to receive adequate compensation. But the courts would be staffed by really clinical experts and judges who really understood these issues, and you could eliminate some of the kind of lottery components of some of the litigation. I think that would give physicians a better sense that their judgment would not be second-guessed when bad things happen to good people.
Mr. Williams, on Aetna's financials, Aetna cut its forecast twice last year because you didn't set premiums high enough, you said, to cover these rising medical costs. You're experiencing also a loss of members. Are you raising your premiums now, or do you anticipate having to?
Well, I think what we've said is that we did experience a greater increase in medical costs, and part of that came about as a result of the H1N1 flu. Another big contributor was the COBRA extension program, and it's an example where people who really would have not had coverage were able to maintain that coverage, but those who tended to exercise that option on average used more health cares than their premium in fact covered. And so generally the answer is we are raising our prices, but our prices are being raised by and large consistent with the increase in medical costs.
And Mr. Williams, I want to play for you a bit of the comments from the Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius, her assessment of prices where they are.
Clearly, it isn't one state or one company or one isolated situation. I think the individual and small group market is seeing double-digit rate increases across the board.
Okay, and if we get your quick comment to that.
Well, I think that the individual market is a reflection of the cost of health care necessary for that population. And then when you lose the younger, healthier, who often are losing their job in this kind of employment environment, you have the double compounded impact of the medical cost trend, plus the absence from the insurance pool. That does lead to an affordability issue, and it's one where I think we're all deeply concerned. Democrats, Republicans, everyone I talk to is concerned about.
We have about 20 seconds here. Bottom line, do you or will you support the president's health care reform proposals?
Well, we think that the president has access proposals in there that will do a lot. I would like to see much more on cost control, because I think as we increase access,
We'll have
unless
to
we
leave
really
it
get
there.
it cost, we're
Sovereign
in
debt
trouble.
is our next topic.